the gig economy is oversaturated. It's not how it was 5 years ago. If you have never done gig work or if you never used these apps, say you got laid off the next day or you got fired and you're trying to look for some quick money you can make, and the first thing you think you're going to do is get on the gig app and be able to find something real quick, well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know about your area, but I know in my area those days are over with. When I got fired from my job towards the end of May, that was the first thing I did. Now, I used to do DoorDash, and that was the main one I did. You know, I did like other gig apps like Roadie and Ship. That's when I had a truck. That's when I had my truck though. But other than that, I mainly used DoorDash. I got banned from DoorDash because my license got suspended during the time I had DoorDash. I mean, I got my license back and everything, but at one time it was suspended. So, I guess they did a background check. They started doing background checks, and I ended up getting banned from what happened in the past. So, I was just like, you know what, forget it. At that time, I did get banned, you know. I was good on money anyways, and I just felt like DoorDash wasn't worth the wear and tear on my core anyways. Like, some days you can make some good money, but some days it's just not even worth it. Try to send you all over the city for a few dollars. You're not even getting paid more than the miles you're driving, and that's kind of how I judge it. I'm not getting paid more than the miles I'm driving, I'm not finna do it. But yes, I ended up getting banned on that. So first thing I tried to do after I got fired was look for some look for some gig work. You know, so I was hopping on Instacart, Grubhub, Uber Eats and stuff. I know Uber's real strict. I got an older vehicle, so I don't even know if they'll let me use an older vehicle with it. But I did like 3 different gig apps, Spark, all that, and all of them had a wait list in my area. So it's gotten to a point to where gig work is now becoming oversaturated because a lot of people depend on gig work now. For a lot of people, even when I was doing this 5 years ago, that was their main source of income. At one point in time, that was my main source of income actually. But you know, you had people, you know, that was felons just getting out of jail, or you had people that was unemployed, that was doing that gig work. And I know a lot of people that was probably collecting unemployment and still doing that gig work on the side too, during COVID time. So, I mean, you know, you have a lot of people to where gig work is their main source of income. Especially now with the economy, mass layoffs, the job market is trash. So it has gotten to a point in my area where gig work is oversaturated and there is now a wait list. They're making everybody wait. So, and I think it's just because, you know, it's so many people doing it. They can't afford to pay, you know, all these people money. You know, it's supposed to be more like towards independent contractor role or part-time gig. So I think it's just gotten to a point to where it's oversaturated and they're just putting a limit on it to where only a certain amount of people can do the gig work. And, you know, once it's filled up to capacity, then, hey, you just gotta be put on a wait list until they find until they find some reason to let go of that person. I think that's kind of what DoorDash did too. Probably during that time, DoorDash was going back doing them background checks. Because that wasn't really no way you can really go back and appeal that and tell them what was happening. Their customer service is outsourced to India, so they don't even know what's going on half of the time. They don't know what area you're in. They don't even understand what's going on. So I didn't even try to appeal it and say, hey, I got my license now, nothing like that. Well, I wasn't even DoorDashing during that time, which I really wasn't. But I didn't even try to do nothing like that. I just let them delete it because at that time I was working anyway, so I didn't really care. But there has been times to where I was like, dang, DoorDash can most definitely come in handy. You know, for me to make a little extra $300 something a day or something, you know. There has been times where I thought about it, trust me. But, you know, with all these mass layoffs and stuff like that, people losing their jobs, yeah, I feel like this is starting to become more and more people full-time income. And like I said, it's getting to a point to where that's oversaturated now. So if you got into the gig economy and started doing some of these apps years ago, then hey, you're in a good spot right now, because the people that's new to it and just trying to get in, I know in certain areas it got to be oversaturated. Like I said, I'm just going based off of this area. I don't know about all the other areas, but in this area, at the moment, it's oversaturated. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about, you know. It's not the same no more. Like I said, 5 years ago, you know, you can depend, like in this area, you was able to, you know, still make you some decent money off the gig economy. And then at a certain point, you know, it just started to slow down, and then I ended up getting kicked off. And I know there's some people that's still making money full time off of different apps and everything. They use multiple different apps, but they have already been on these apps for years. So what I'm basically trying to say is, if you're new and you're thinking about starting in the gig economy, and you never did it before, and you're trying to hop in now, it might be a little too late just because it's oversaturated. But you should, I mean, it's most definitely worth a try. You know, you can get on the waiting list, and your area might be different. It may not be oversaturated in your area, and you may be able to, hey, get in and make some money. But tell me how the gig economy is in your area, because in my area, it's oversaturated, and I stay in the greater St. Louis area on the Illinois side. But y'all tell me how it is in y'all area. Tell me, is it oversaturated or is it a lot of work? Y'all let me know. Because I know, in my area, there's a wait list. And that's all I want to talk to y'all about today. Hope y'all have a good day. Peace.